हेलो गाइस, अस्सलाम वालेकुम यूट्यूब चैनल। तो आज मैं आप लोगों को बताने वाली हूँ ह्यूमर्स के बारे में। इसको हम डिस्क्राइब करेंगे पूरा ह्यूमर्स के बारे में। द ह्यूमर्स इज़ द बोन ऑफ द आर्म। इट इज़ द लॉन्गेस्ट बोन ऑफ द अपर लिम। इट हैज़ एन अपर एंड अ लोअर एंड अ शिफ्ट। द अपर एंड नंबर 1 है द हेड इज डायरेक्टेड द मेडिकली द बैकवर्ड एंड अपवर्ड. It articulates with the glenoid cavity of the scapula from the shoulder joint. The head forms about 1/3 of a spear and is much larger than the glenoid cavities. Number 2, the line separating the head from the rest of the upper end is called anatomical neck. Number 3 है the laser the tubercle is in elevations on the interior except of the upper end. Number 4 the grectors the tubercles is in elevations that from the lateral the part of the upper end. It is the posterior accepted is marked by 3 impressions: upper, middle and lower. Number 5 the intertubercular sculiosis or bicipital groove separates the laser tubercles medial from the anterior part of the grectors tubercles. The scula has medial and lateral the lips that represent downward prolongations of the lasers and grectors tuberculosis. Number 6 है the narrow the line separation the upper end of the humerus from the shift is called the surgical neck. The shift is rounded in the upper half and triangle in the lower half. It has a 3 border and 3 surface borders. The number 1 the upper 1/3 of the interior border from the lateral lip of the intertubercular sculiosis, and it is the middle part. It is from the interior margins of the deltoid the tuberosity. The lower half of the interior border is smooth and rounded. Number 2 the lateral border is a prominent only at the lower end where it is from the lateral the supercondylar right. In the upper part it is barely the traceable up to the posterior the surface of the grectors tuberculosis. In the middle part it is anterior reputed by the radial or spiral groove. Number 3 है the upper part of the middle border from the middle lips of the interior tubercular sculiosis about it is middle. It is present at rough strips. It is a continuum below with the middle the supercondylar rigid surface. Number 1 है the interior lateral surface lies between the interior and lateral border. The upper half of this surface is covered by the deltoid a little above the middle. It is marked by a V shape. Deltoid the tuberosity behind the deltoid the tuberosity the radial the groove runs downward and forward across the surface. Number 2 the intermedial surface lies between the interior and middle border. It is upper 1/3. It is narrow and from the lower of the intertubercular sculiosis and nutrition forming is seen on it is this surface is near it is middle near and middle border. The posterior surface lies between the middles and lateral borders. It is upper part is marked by the oblique rigid and middle 1/3 is crossed by the radial the grooves. The lower end of the humor form the condyle which is suspended from side to side and has articular and non-articular parts. The articular part in the culoid and following. Number 1 है capitulum is a rounded projection which articulated with the head of the radius. Number 2 the trochlea is a pulley shaped surface is articulated with the tectula noted of the ulna. The medial edges of the Tortilla the projects down 6 mm more than the lateral edge. This results in the formations of the carried angel. The non-articulate part include the flowing, the middle's epicondyl is a prominenting the bone projection on the middle side of the lower and it is a subcutaneous and is easily the flat on the middle side of the elbow. The lateral, the epicondyle is a similar than in the medical the epicondyle. It is a introlateral part has the muscular the impressions. Number 3 है the sharp lateral the margins just above the lower end is called the lateral supercondylar regions. Number 4 है the medial the supercondylar region is similar to the regions on the medial the sides. Number 5 है the conide the fossa is a depression just above the interior the acceptance of the trochlea. It is a common that is the coronite process of the ulna when the elbow is flexed.